The rain poured like tears from a grieving sky the night little Aanya was wheeled out of the hospital, her legs limp, her future sealed with silence. She was only 4 when the accident stole her ability to walk. Doctors called it spinal trauma, a clinical term that did little to soften the blow her parents felt when they realized the bustling, dancing soul of their daughter was now confined to a wheelchair, perhaps for life. Her father, Arman Verma, one of the richest CEOs in the country, had built empires with steel and fire in his eyes, but nothing prepared him for the quiet defeat of hearing that money couldn't fix this. No amount of specialists, foreign hospitals, or experimental therapies had made her legs move. 6 years passed. 6 birthdays were celebrated with balloons tied to her chair, and 6 winters came and went with little hope. And then, one day, when the city had all but given up, a poor farmer from the edge of nowhere whispered the words, "Let me try." Broken heart, if this beginning stirred something in your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Rapple of Hope, especially if you believe in kindness, second chances, and miracles where you'd least expect them. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. Arman Verma's life had always been about control, precision, results. He was a man who didn't believe in superstition, prayer, or the irrational. He believed in research, statistics, outcomes, because that's what had built him. His daughter's condition, however, shattered every belief system he had. They tried elite neurologists in London, specialists in Germany, healing centers in Japan. Nothing. Anya's legs remained lifeless, and over the years, so did her smile. Her mother, Priya, a quiet woman of grace, began to shrink under the weight of it all, battling silent depressions, desperate to remain strong for Anya's sake. Their home, once filled with laughter and color, grew sterile with grief, like a beautiful mansion turned mausoleum. Aanya herself had grown into a deeply introspective girl. She had the soul of a poet, writing about butterflies she couldn't chase and trees she couldn't climb. Her eyes held a wisdom far beyond her years, but also a loneliness no child should know. People often looked at her with pity, and she had grown to despise that gaze more than the pain in her spine. In her heart, she dreamed of standing, just once. Not for anyone else. Just for herself. To know what it felt like to dance, to run, to fall and get up on her own. Then came the unexpected turn. Arman had taken Aanya and Priya to a rural village in northern India for a charity event, something his PR team arranged. The Verma Foundation had donated to schools, farms, and healthcare, and this was just another photo op. But fate, as it does, had its own script. In that dusty village, as they handed out bags of grain and medicine, a man named Hari stepped forward from the crowd. He was no one important by the world's standards. A humble farmer, sun-darkened skin, calloused hands, and a presence that felt rooted, timeless. He approached them with quiet confidence and said he'd heard of their daughter. That he had helped children walk before, using only nature, touch, and patience. Arman was about to dismiss him when Aanya, silent the whole trip, spoke for the first time in days. She said, "Let him try." It was perhaps the only reason Arman didn't have his security turn the man away. What followed was nothing short of strange. Hari didn't bring machines, charts, or syringes. He brought herbs, oils, breathing techniques, and a kind of deep stillness. He came to their estate every day, asking for time with Aanya under the open sky. He'd massage her legs with warmth in his hands, speak to her, not about her legs, but about the stars, trees, and the stories wind carried. It wasn't therapy, it was connection. He told her to imagine roots growing from her toes into the earth, and branches stretching from her spine into the sky. Every day, he told her, "You are not broken. You are just waiting to remember." At first, Arman and Priya thought it was nonsense. But Aanya was, smiling again. She laughed with Hari. She began sleeping better. She asked to sit in the sun longer. Something in her spirit began to shift, and Priya, though skeptical, began to hope quietly. 3 weeks in, Hari asked Aanya to try standing in the water. They went to a shallow river near their home. She held on to 2 large stones while Hari supported her gently. The water buoyed her body. It was symbolic more than functional, but when she said she felt something in her toes, Priya wept uncontrollably on the shore. The progress was slow, uneven, almost imperceptible to an outsider. But inside Aanya, something had begun. Her belief in herself, her body, her healing, was reignited. Hari never promised miracles. He didn't ask for money. In fact, he refused any gifts. "I serve," he said, "because once, someone served me." Arman, a man who had once scoffed at such sentiments, found himself watching Hari at work with awe. He saw in him a calm Arman had never known, a grounded strength that couldn't be bought. Weeks turned into months. One day, while Priya was reading by the window, she heard a scream, not of fear, but of triumph. She ran outside and saw her daughter, barefoot on the grass, arms shaking, but standing. For the first time in 10 years, Aanya stood on her own. Tears flowed like rivers that day. Arman held his daughter with a reverence he had never known. It wasn't science that brought this moment, it was love. Faith. Patience. The unseen forces that people like Arman spent their lives ignoring. Hari left quietly soon after. He didn't wait for fanfare. Just a small note: she was always capable. She just needed to be believed in. Years later, Aanya became a physiotherapist. She opened a center in her father's name, but based it on Hari's principles. Connection. Compassion. Time. The richest families came to her, but she treated every patient the same way she had once been treated, gently, fully, with heart. Her story spread far and wide. People spoke of her healing, but few knew the full truth. That it all began because one poor farmer whispered a sentence, and someone finally listened. Folded hands. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that love can heal more than medicine ever could, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Rappel of Hope. These stories matter because people like you care enough to watch, to feel, to believe.